Welcome to the Pine Talks podcast.
But it is interesting also, though, on the positive side, on the semi-positive side, that we like what's happening now with this GameStop. Somehow, people that are strangers that don't know each other are able to organize and form this fist to at least punch someone once.
To fight
That's
back.
kind of fascinating.
Yeah. In a way, I think a lot of people felt it like this. At least the small guy got one in.
For sure, it feels like that, and that's why it's sort of this big movement, and people are so excited about it. Is because it feels like there's a way to resist the system. There's a way to resist all the shady activity that's been happening with hedge funds and with Wall Street, and I think that's what's fueling this movement.
Yeah, it's a way to hit back at the people who've, in some ways, orchestrated our lives for decades. Let's rewind a bit. What happened and what are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about the thing that everyone's talking about, and that's the Wall Street bets. That is what's happening on Wall Street right now. I'm sure you guys have already heard about this a lot, so I'm not going to go too deep into this. It's all over the news. But basically, stocks such as GameStop, and I think it was 12 other stocks in total, are getting inflated, seemingly kind of artificially. Out of nowhere, they just went up. And the reason was because an army of people, through social media, through various places like Reddit, have decided to really invest into those stocks in order to what is called as squeeze the short positions. They appear to target stocks that have very big short positions. And a short position is basically someone betting against a stock, someone betting that the stock would go down. They picked stocks that have these huge short positions, particularly by these big hedge fund managers. And so this army of individual investors just totally inflated the stock in order to squeeze the short position to really hurt the hedge funds and by raising the stock.
I think we can go a little bit into what a short position is, a long position is, and a short squeeze is, because even for people who invest in stocks, I think they're not necessarily well defined in how they work. So in terms of just educational, it could be nice to just talk about a little bit longer. I think you're better fit to do it because you actually do investing.
I can do it. Normally, when you're investing, the most basic form is you buy a share of a company, you buy stock, company stock. And what that is, it's a piece of the company. You buy a tiny piece of the business. So you're technically a business owner when you do that. So that's the traditional way. And in many ways, that's considered long investing. I don't know why it's called long, but it is the long position where you're betting that the company will go up. The stock price of the company will go up. That's why you're buying it. And if it goes up and you own your share or number of shares that you own, then they'll be worth more. So you can make a profit out of that. So that's the classic investing that many people imagine what investing is, right? It's the same in when you buy gold or anything that you buy. Maybe you buy a painting. You're buying it and you hope that maybe it will go up in price. That's kind of like an appreciating asset.
Okay, but what happened then with Wall Street versus Reddit was that was not long positions, right? That was shorting. So can you explain what shorting is?
Yeah. Now, there are ways you can also invest in the market. If you think a company's stock is going to go down, you can also short it. So you can short the stock of the company. Shorting is a way to basically bet against the company. And the way shorting works is you borrow a stock from someone and you pay a premium for that, some sort of a price for that, right, to borrow it. Then you have to return that stock to the same person within a set period of time. So what you do next is you sell the stock immediately on the market at the current price, and you take that money. Then what you do is you wait. So you still have that money that you sold that borrowed stock for, and you wait, hoping that the stock price will basically go down. Now, if it does go down, you buy it at that lower price with the money that you had from selling it earlier, and you return the stock to the lender. What you do is you basically keep the difference between the price you originally sold the borrowed stock at and the price you bought it at. So you take that difference, you pocket it. So that's a way to bet against the stock or to short it. And what happened with stocks like GameStop and others like AMC and BlackBerry and others is that they had very large short positions. there were a lot of people, and particularly hedge funds, that had shorted the stock, in effect, betting against the company. But
Yeah.
yes,
So
I
the
think
way
you're right.
that works is it also decreases because you, in a way, move a stock horizontally as opposed to a bias stock. It actually also decreases the demand for these stocks as well. So the price would naturally go down. Is that right?
Yeah, the way stocks work in general is, they go up when you buy them and they go down when you sell them. That activity of you doing the short position or buying that option to do a short will potentially decrease the stock's value. And obviously these experts and traders and hedge fund managers, they understand that stuff very, very well. So some of the points made in the media lately are that, they could be using these type of strategies to really, they have been, to really like hurt the company, to sort of have a big impact on them. And what's happening now is essentially to counter that. So people are buying the stock, they're buying options that are up. So they're doing it's called a call option when you're trying to predict that the stock's going to go up. So they're really doing the counter movement in order to basically screw up all these hedge fund managers that are shorting the stock.
It kind of makes sense also in a financial sense, because if you short a stock, you make the stock go down, then somebody buys it off cheaply or cheaper, and then the stock goes up because demand goes up. So in a way, financially, I think some of those Redditors who bought all those stocks did pretty well. I mean, the stock is up more than, just to give people
For
an
now.
idea, the stock is up more than 1,000%. GameStop in March 2020 was about $3. At the moment, it's over $300, and it's going around.
Granted, you
350.
picked a very specific point in time where the whole market is really low.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, but they did. Yeah, it is astronomically up right now. Well, it is interesting what's going to happen later. Like how at the time of this recording, we're in the middle of this situation. And so we don't know who's the winner, who's the loser of this. We know that currently certain hedge fund managers have lost a lot of money. They've exited their short position on a big loss. But the stock will not just go up endlessly. The buying will stop at some point. And so there will be definitely a lot of these people who are buying will be losers as well in the long run. Some of them will make a ton of money probably, and then some of them would lose. So obviously, depending on how late you exit your position.
Yeah, that's the whole thing now, is when people exit. And on the flip side, if somebody shorts this position at the right time, they're also going to make a killing. Even before March 2020, and it's true that's the lowest that stock has been in a long time or ever. Even before then, GameStop was worth maybe $10, maybe $15 per share. So to go from 300 to 20, that's a lot of money.
It is. And you would have this situation where people are just going to be afraid, I think, to short it just because of what happened. They're probably going to be afraid of shorting anything now for a bit, but they might be particularly afraid of shorting GameStop. So their stock might naturally be higher for a while, just because there's going to be a lack of shorting, just because it's such a scary place to be as a short position.
The last concept that we might want to talk about, which you mentioned, is short squeeze.
Sure. You wanna go at it?
Sure, yeah. To my understanding, a short squeeze, you have bought a short position, you see that is going badly, and you start buying up stock. And by buying up stock, obviously the price will keep on going up. However, you can then sell that stock at a higher price and mitigate some of your losses.
Yeah, essentially they have to cover their position, because since, for example, now if you're short in GameStop, the stock is going up so high that your losses could be monumental. So the only way for you to really protect yourself, that I'm aware, is if you start buying it. So you kind of jump on the wave. So you're kind of like playing both directions, and you're kind of screwing yourself up by doing that too, because you're raising the price. So it's a poison pill for sure.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you like what you heard, don't forget to rate us, like, and share. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where we are at Pine Talks. From the whole Pine Talks team, we hope you have an awesome day.